This is the second of our breakout sessions. This is Breakout E, entitled Bridging Data Silos Through a Data Marketplace. And our next speaker is Gopalan, Rajagopalan, Head of Scotland, Tata Consultancy Services. So, Gopalan, over to you.
Thank you. Right, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Mark, for the kind introduction. Thank you all for turning up in numbers. I hope I'll be able to share some useful insights as part of this session today for you to take away. I manage the Scotland operations for Tata Consultancy Services. Before I get into the meat of the discussions around data marketplace and data silos, just wanted to present an obligatory slide on TCS, what we do, who we are. TCS is Tata Consultancy Services. We are part of the Tata group of companies. Many of you would have heard of the name. It's a large multinational based out of India, but with significant presence here in the UK. Some of the leading brands that the group owns includes Jaguar Land Rover, Tata Steel, and possibly less known Tetley Tea as well. We ourselves are a leading IT services organization, a system integrator doing both front-end IT work and back-office operations. We've been in the business for the best part of 50 years, and interestingly enough, for 40 of those years, 41 to be precise, 42, we've been here in Scotland. Some significant relationships with 30-plus customers in both private and public sector. Many of those relationships go back 20, 25, 30 years even. And at last count, we had about 4,300 of our staff physically based here in Scotland in various sites, with several hundred supporting us from the rest of UK and in India and other parts of the geography. Some of our credentials you can see up there. Number one in customer satisfaction, rated by White Lane Research, a leading analyst in the IT sector, top employer, top company to work with in LinkedIn, so feel free to apply. Business ESG awards, and last year we also won the Diversity and Inclusion Award at the HR Network Scotland Awards 2022. From our marketing perspective, we also support some leading brands such as the London Marathon, we are the prime sponsor, and the Jaguar Land Rover E-Circuit. So with that preliminaries, data marketplace. Now, when I am talking to customers about the theme of this summit, which is all about digital transformation, invariably the conversation revolves around how we can completely reimagine the business for the organization. How can we devise new ways of working? How can we take advantage of some of the new technologies in the market to put in place to replace their legacy systems and so on? Everything to do with AI, ML, automation, machine learning, cloud technologies, some of the things that Alexandra was talking about earlier on. That's really coming to the fore. But the one challenge we invariably come up against is data, or more precisely, the fact that in most organizations, data is quite fragmented. It's spread across different departments of the organization. Sometimes it's spread across different parts of the world if it's a global organization. It's spread across their supply chain, across public bodies, in open data formats, and so on. And the challenge is, how do you bring all of that fragmented data into a meaningful construct that would allow for a single digital service to be launched that can go alongside the digital transformation journeys that most organizations are embarking on today. Our viewpoint in TCS is that one of the ways you could address this, not always, but in many instances, and we'll talk about two case studies specifically here today, is by devising the concept of a data marketplace. And a data marketplace is quite simply nothing but a platform which is hosted by an organization or a body, which allows data providers and data consumers to buy and sell data. It's as simple as that. You could have value-adding service providers providing services on top of the data. But the interesting thing is you can tap into data in different ways. You can get different data sources, different disparate systems that provide this input, open data, and so on. And you have different types of data, transaction data, log data, batch data, streaming data in different formats that can come together to really add value and meet the requirements, or as is spoken about in the data community, the wants of the data consumer. And that's all there is to it. But of course, there is a number of things that go alongside that. And we'll talk about those core tenets in the next slide. Now, the concept of exchanging data, both within organizations, across organizations, is quite well established. There are several use cases, many of which you will be familiar with. Exchange of anonymized healthcare data with organizations to undertake clinical trials, exchange of fraud information across financial institutions to be able to better manage the fraud elements of that industry, exchange of data in retail sector to manage customer footfall and consumer behavior, looking at smart metering data as a means to exchange that with utility providers to identify hotspots where there could be fuel poverty and providing targeted services. So that concept of data exchange is well known. But in TCS, we believe that in order for this to qualify to be a data marketplace, you really need three core elements. There could be others, but at the heart of it, you need three things. One is this whole idea of data democratization. The data which is inputted and sourced needs to be, the platform needs to enable that to be classified and profiled. You need to be able to connect disparate sources of data in what is known as a data mesh architecture, whereby you're not actually physically storing the data, but in a very anonymized way, you're able to facilitate the exchange of data between the provider and the consumer. You obviously want to make sure that the platform allows for integrating with metadata management tools, with data governance tools, ensuring there is privacy, consent, and all the good things. And last but not least, and most importantly, allowing the data providers to be able to publish their data in a very effective manner, and for the data consumers to identify what are the wants they have and to be able to effectively search for that information in the data platform. So that's the basic. Once you've got that in place, you then are looking to see how can you extract value out of it. And that's what we refer to as data monetization. This is all about ensuring that the platform allows for interactive and workbench analytics to take place, to extract insights, to be able to create charts, reports, and dashboards, to be able to create pipelines that allow with pre-processing and to manage quality, to manage the transformation and fusion of data, and to be able to publish that information across, including the data pipelines for the creation of new data products. And last but not least, extending that concept to external to the organization to be able to commercialize this data. Now, you may not always want to do that, but there are a couple of instances I know of where organizations are looking to really get value, monetary value out of their data. And here you want to have the platform provide you with facilities that allow for the price negotiation between the provider and the consumer to be able to manage the contract between the provider and the consumer in a seamless way. And of course, then to be able to securely deliver the data. So this concept of a data marketplace can be applied to within an organization, across departments, across multiple geographies of an organization. It can be applied to similar organization within an industry, sharing of certain data for the collective benefit of that particular industry, or it could be cross-industry. And at this point, I want to talk about two case studies that TCS has been involved with, one of which is the ecosystem play, and the other is starting as an ecosystem play is going to be extended into a cross-industry example. Very interesting case studies, very diverse examples, and quite different in their complexities, and I'll touch on that in a minute. The first one is a dog control notice database for, by the way, just before I do that, I should tell you that the market for the data marketplace is exploding. There are reports which suggest that the current market is in the region of about $1 billion. In 2023, that is growing at the rate CAGR of 25% between now to 2030. We are looking at the market going to at least $5 billion by that time. So there's a lot of good reasons to invest in that. Firstly, the value you get out of it, and secondly, the potential for a business there as well. Now, the first case study is all about the dog control notice database. The background to this is the Scottish government, in their program for government in 2021-22, had actually made a commitment to create a dog control notice database to both control and monitor dangerous dogs. Now, many of you who've been following the news will know this is very topical. There's been a few reports in the recent past about incidents involving dangerous dogs and the need to monitor them. And certainly in Scotland, we are no different, and we clearly want that to be handled with care. Currently, that is being done, or rather used to be done, by the individual local authorities. The 32 different local authorities had their different ways to collect the data information about dangerous dogs, manage that within their individual local authorities. What the Scottish Government was looking to do is to extend that concept to be able for that data to be shared across all 32 local authorities. They approached Improvement Service, who's the go-to organization in Scotland for the local authorities for all digital public services, including transformation, change, performance, and improvement, and so on. And TCS happens to be a technology partner with Improvement Service, so we were called in to help devise a construct. Now, what we put in place is quite a simple construct, and I'll talk about that in a little bit more detail, but centrally it was a concept of a data marketplace, connecting the information that was today in silos within the 32 local authorities, bringing it into a centralized database, and then publishing that information back to the authorities to manage and monitor the dangerous dogs and their owners, but also to Police Scotland to be able for them to react to any incidents that happen with these dangerous dogs. And then there were a whole other set of ecosystem partners who hooked onto that data marketplace. The solution itself, that's a snapshot of the website. You get all of the data captured, and we'll talk about that in the next slide, how that happens. You can see that in list format. You can drill down to the individual dog control notice, or DCN as it's called. To get the details, you can actually look it up in a map and see if there is a hotspot where there are a number of dangerous dogs or dog owners. We have deliberately masked all of that data is fictitious data and anonymized data, but we've still masked the address details just in case you happen to be living in one of those neighborhoods. So that information has now become the golden repository for all information related to dog controls, out-of-control dogs. So you'll be pleased to know, living in Scotland, that there is this central database with all dangerous dogs captured and with easy access for the police 24/7 to be able to monitor that. The way the information is fed into the platform, and by the way, both for this and the next case study I'll talk about, the core engine, the data marketplace, is a TCS IP called DEXAM. Now, you don't necessarily need to use DEXAM. It so happened that we were the partners in these two areas. There are a number of players in the marketplace today offering data marketplace services, including the hyperscalers like AWS, Google, and Azure, and Microsoft. So here, the authorized users, in this case, a local authority, authorized user within a local authority, would typically upload a bulk data, DCN data, in a specified Excel template, or if it's an individual DCN, that would come through a web data capture screen. That would then be consolidated, it would be processed, and the DEXAM team would upload, or the team that's supporting this platform would upload it into the DEXAM, through which you can then get several views and searches and visualization through the DEXAM platform. And again, there's a template there of various filters. You can filter by DCN, by type of breed, dog breed, by when that DCN was raised, and so on and so forth. Now, the concept itself is very simple, and you could argue that perhaps the data marketplace was overkill in this particular instance, quite simply because all you need is for the 32 local authorities to give the information in a certain template. You could take the template, upload it in a central database. Why do you need a complex data marketplace? And this is where Improvement Service, being that central body looking at improving digital public services in Scotland, was thinking ahead. They recognized that it may be overkill, but they wanted this data marketplace to be able to be put in place so that they can develop on that to do a number of other use cases with the 32 local authorities sharing data, which is a facility that is not there today. And that's something that we are looking to help them with. And that is the reason they've gone in for this. It's gone live now with the DCN. It's the first use case. It's almost like a pilot, if you like. And that particular process, which is today a little bit batch-oriented, is something we are looking to make it real-time and then use it for other use cases within the authorities. So that's under view, which is a portal-wide view of a DCNs. You get a list. You can search by, again, different filters. You can look at a particular region. You can see what are the dog control notices that have been issued within that particular region, the frequency of incidents that have taken place, and so on. Or you can click on an individual DCN and get the level of detail behind that. The dog type, the breed, who are the owners, who raised it, at what time, are there more than one DCNs attached to that particular dog, etc. You could also use the facility to address any change in circumstances. If the owner has sold the dog to a different owner, you could create a variation. If there's been a breach of the dog control notice by the owner, and they haven't followed certain protocols they've been issued with in the first instance, then you could record that. If the dangerous dog has been in the database for a while and there's been no further incidents, dog's been behaving well, you could take it off the register, that is the discharge procedure, or if the individual, the owner and the dog transfer to a different local authority from where they are today, that can also be facilitated. So there's a number of things that you can do. The bottom line is you've got now a national database for out-of-control dogs. It's easily searchable. The police can access it 24/7. There's a lot of analytics that go on the back of that in terms of reporting. You've got a standardized process for capturing this data across 32 local authorities. The use case can be extended to other elements. But the most important thing is in the community, it reduces the time to respond for dog-related incidents and keeps the community safe. And obviously, there are visualization techniques and so on. So that's one case study, which is probably the simpler of the two I was going to talk about. The second one is quite a diverse and different industry altogether. And this is to do with rail data. And how do you collect data from different rail operating companies, from network rail, from freight operators, and so on and so forth, and bring them into a central database? The background to this is that back in 2021, the then UK Rail Minister, Chris Heaton-Harris, announced a plan for collaboration between the government and the industry to accelerate innovation and delivering new products and services for passenger experience, freight movement, and so on. The program of work was given to Rail Delivery Group, an organization that was tasked with putting together a data marketplace, and they in turn appointed TCS as their partner to deliver this particular service. Again, we built it on the Dexam platform, which is the core engine that drives the data marketplace. And the aim is really to bring all of the strategic partners in the railway ecosystem, be it the Department of Transport, the Rail Supply Group, the safety boards, the network rail, and so on, under a single strategic platform where the data is searchable, easy to find, and seamless to access. The long-term objective, obviously, was also to support the UK Rail's decarbonization plan. If you look at the left-hand side of the chart that lists the objectives, the ability to access data in real time or near real time, that will in turn, the hope is it will stimulate innovation and development, improves data sharing among the various bodies in the ecosystem, improves the access to high-quality data, provides a platform for users and the public to access that data, and obviously to help with the decarbonization goals. The immediate implementation, which has gone live, and we'll see a demo in a minute, is for that railway ecosystem, which is the train operating companies, network rail, freight operators, and the safety boards, and so on. But the idea is to extend that concept to now include other mobility ecosystem partners, the airlines, the tram operators, the bus operators, and so on, and eventually then extend that even further to related industries. It could be tour operators, restaurants, hotel chains, so on, all of them contributing, sharing data in a centralized database, and really, the sum of that being immense value to all the partners. So what does that involve? Well, the platform is there. It's, by the way, hosted on Google. We have delivered a lot of value already in that initial implementation. It's helping the stakeholders in that rail data marketplace ecosystem to access this data transparently. There is already a lot of suggestions that are coming forward with respect to how we could improve that. There's a community forum there for the rail data marketplace providers and consumers to be able to put in their requests. We've been working with the Rail Data Group to enhance the platform, provide new features, services, etc. But enough of me speaking. I think it'll be good to see a video of what we have done with Rail Data Group in putting this place. This video is in two parts. The first part is about how you actually use it as a subscriber, and then it looks at it from the point of view of a provider or a publisher. and what do you need to do to set up a contract to be able to get onto that platform and provide data services. So with that, I'll...
Imagine a platform where you can find and share data about Britain's railways. A place where it's easy to publish your data or find new data, both free and paid for. Imagine a data product catalog where you can search by keyword and filter by license type. Or why not just browse the catalog and see what you can find? An overview tab shows basic information about the product, including data quality scored by the publisher on 4 dimensions. If the publisher offers SLAs for the product, then it's all laid out here. In the Specification tab, you can add parameters and try the data product for yourself. And you can view the full license and terms of use, viewing the document in the platform or downloading it to share with your team. It's easy to view and manage your subscriptions at any time. And just look at the wide range of organizations already registered with the platform. Help and support is just a click away. We have a wide range of useful guides and policies to get you up and running. And it's just a short form to get support from a real human agent. The Rail Data Marketplace will bring many benefits, including better passenger journeys and a more accessible experience for all. It will enable innovation within the sector and unlock operational efficiencies. Organizations can share open data for free or charge for high-value or commercially sensitive data. Now let's take a look at things from a data publisher's point of view. We start with a data source, which represents a technical connection to the original data. Then we build a product around that by adding license terms and price. We enter basic product details, connect to a data source, then select tags and themes to categorize our data. This drives searching and browsing for data consumers. We upload or link to any documentation, then choose whether to publish immediately after approval or schedule for a future date. We specify any SLAs we are willing to offer, including request and response times, plus our response to incidents. Then we use the license builder to specify who can access the data. Is it anyone, only certain types of organization, or if we would like to approve every subscription request on an ad hoc basis. Then we state in which ways the data may or may not be used or further shared. Whether we want the data to be free to access, or apply a charging model such as freemium or volume-based. We state whether or not there will be a fair usage limit. And there we have it. We can choose the recommended license or upload our own, then submit the data product for approval. We hope you have enjoyed learning more about the Rail Data Marketplace and can't wait to have you on board.
So as you can see, that was quite a sophisticated platform with pretty much all the features that I alluded to at the start of the presentation, the data democratization, the monetization, the commercialization with facilities for price negotiation, contract management, subscription, the works. And that is the platform we are now looking to extend to beyond the immediate rail ecosystem to cross-industry. So I just want to finish with these key takeaways. We do believe in TCS that this concept of a data marketplace with the features that we have talked about can add real exponential value to organizations, organizations in the same industry and cross-industry. It helps obviously with faster decision-making by giving the quick data-driven insights. It allows for seamless data access by the data consumers. It improves data exchange, which is an element of the data marketplace, but not the whole thing. And last but not least, by ensuring that there is no actual physical data stored in the data marketplace, it also secures the data transactions from the point of view of privacy, consent, and governance. So that's all I wanted to share with you. I hope you found that of interest. Thank you very much. Happy to take any questions.
Okay, thank you. Well done. Okay. Well done.